How's it going, Mets and overall baseball fans? Welcome back to the channel. I know I could probably answer that for you. I'm going to go on a limb and say that's not going well for you if you're in fact a Mets fan, as we just went through a wave of emotions and are continuing to, as the Mets just got swept in Atlanta against the number one big bad Braves in heartbreaking fashion every single game for the first time in Mets history, losing 3 consecutive ball games with a lead of at least 3 or more. Truly pathetic, truly heartbreaking, and add insult to injury, Pete Alonso, the Mets' number one slugger, one of the best sluggers in baseball since arriving in the league in 2019, who has stayed healthy for the most part throughout the entirety of his young career, got drilled in the wrist area from Charlie Morton in Game 2 of that 3-game set against the Atlanta Braves, and further imaging in New York proved that he is going to be out a minimum of around a month with a bone bruise. Now, the upside is that thankfully it's not a fracture for Alonso, and they will be gaining back in hopefully around a month or so. 3 to 4 weeks is how long it normally takes to heal. Could be sooner, could be later, and will likely have to do probably a couple rehab games before he returns to the Mets as well. But the negative is that the Mets, again, while they've had things going with their offense, while they just scored 10 earned runs against the Braves and had 8 earned against Strider last night at the time of recording this, it doesn't change the fact that this Mets offense has still had their inconsistencies this year, and now they're losing the big bad Pete Alonso for at minimum a month. So what does this mean for this Mets team? Well, again, as a team that's 30-33 at the time of recording this very well this next month could truly be do or die for this club here in June, as they're off to a horrendous start. They have lost 6 straight games, 2 straight series. This is their longest losing streak since the 2019 season. It can't get much worse for the Mets right now, but maybe it can thanks to this Alonso injury. Wishing him a very speedy recovery. But now that the Mets don't have Alonso, what are they going to do from here? Well, the biggest and most important thing, because we know the Mets are not going to go out of their way to try to do any trades that are going to show desperation, whether we want it or not. They're just not going to do that right now on the offensive end. So now that the Mets have this guy by the name of Mark Vientos, who went 0 for 5 last night, a couple strikeouts looking, doing his best Daniel Vogelbach impression, and that's probably where he got the tips from Ryan the bench watching Vogie for the past month. Regardless, Vientos being up with this Mets team right now in a very limited role, and his development is getting hurt by the day by him not playing consistently. The Mets are not going to send him down. Now is the time for him to get consistent reps every single day, either at the first base position or the DH position, in which he'll be alternating first base with Mark Canha, in which Canha can handle first fine. Daniel Vogelbach can play first, but the likelihood of him getting more than maybe a game or 2 there is very unlikely. If I had to go on a limb and say that again, I might be proven wrong because Buck has made head-scratching decisions for us all on the Daniel Vogelbach front, but the point stands. Hopefully, this is a blessing in disguise for the future of Mark Vientos and the Mets playing him daily by giving him at least a month-long leash of really saying he needs to be in the lineup. If he's not, it's inexcusable for this Mets coaching staff. That has no other reason. They have nothing to lose by playing the kid at this point, because if they decide not to, just send him down so you don't hurt his development any more than you already have. 13 home runs in AAA this year in only a month and a half or not even 2 months span. Called up to the Mets, hits a home run in his first game, hasn't done much since, but again, has been sparse in how many games he's getting to start, few and far in between. So Vientos, hopefully this is a similar situation to Narvaez being out on the 60-day IL. Alvarez coming up. Alvarez was brutal in his first couple weeks into his Mets tenure this year, and then became one of the best catchers in all baseball, has 11 home runs this season, and is truly in a class of his own as a young talent at the age of 21. Hopefully the Mets can find another little bit of a diamond in the rough, if you will, and an internal option that they can get that power production out of, because Vientos has a lot of pop in his bat, and hopefully consistent reps will be key now. And after when Alonso returns, hopefully the Mets are in a situation where Vientos thrives and is in the role as basically the Mets' number one DH on a day-to-day operation. 2 out of 3 games at minimum every series. That's the fingers crossed what we're hoping for when Mets fans focusing on internal options. Need to give the kid playing time. There's no other reason not to make it happen. It needs to happen now. Now is the time for Marky V to see what he can provide to the Mets over this next month, and then go from there. But having said that, the Mets have a couple other health updates, and that includes Tomas Nido. Maybe not so much on the health update front, but team update front. The Mets, of course, DFA Tomas Nido this past weekend, and as long as they don't trade him by Saturday or Sunday, he's outrighted now to AAA, and he's going to stay in the Mets organization. So you got to love that. He could have opted out, I'm pretty sure. He is staying in the Mets organization. He will be going outright to AAA with the Mets, which is key for that catching depth to have him in the organization. Still very happy about that. should that still be the case. Then we have some other updates as well for the Mets. The Mets brought up Luis Gourmet coming back to the club after thriving in AAA. He's brought up as a corresponding move for Alonso going on the IL. And then Steven Nagosic, who has been eating some lawn relief for the Mets, hasn't done a great job. But again, most of this Mets bullpen hasn't done a great job, especially in lawn relief. He has been designated for assignment as a corresponding move for the Mets to bring up southpaw reliever in Zach Muckenhirn, because the Mets need fresh arms in the pen for the Pirates series. So those are all the latest updates for the team in Metsland. I want to know your thoughts down below. And again, it's heartbreaking. It's crushing what is going on with Pete Alonso right now. On one hand, I'm grateful that it isn't broken and he's say not out for the entirety of the year. It's a month, but with how this Mets team is looking right now, there's a lot of reasons to believe that this month, the entire month of June, very well could be the demise of this club if they continue to dig a deeper hole than what they are currently in. So don't know how to feel about this team right now. All I know is that I'm not feeling good. They're beyond frustrating. They've been heartbreaking on a night-to-night basis. Nothing is going right on the pitching front. And when they have the pitching, they don't have the offense. When they have the offense, they don't have the pitching. Nothing is in unison. Nothing is getting along well. And if this month goes bad the way that many Mets fans believe it will after losing Alonso, then we may find ourselves with some key decisions made on the internal front, either in the coaching staff. I doubt a front office, but that's something that I as well. A lot of things are happening in Mets land, and we have 100 games to go. So buckle up, Mets fans. Pete Alonso out for a month. We'll see what they do with him out. And more than anything, need the team to step up. And it starts with Francisco Lindor, who is the second leader on this club that can provide the power, that can provide the consistent offense. It is imperative for Lindor to do his best impression here, be the leader that we know he can be, and hopefully help propel the Mets as being one of many factors into them riding high the best they can without their star slugger and Pete Alonso. Mets fans, drop your thoughts down below. Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed, make sure to smash that like and subscribe on, as always, for consistent Mets content, and I'll talk to you all again real soon. Let's go Mets, baby. Peace out.